Hello chess friends and welcome to Yazarov's chess channel and welcome to our Basics in Chess series. So in this series we're following opening principles, middle game strategies and the endgame strategies. Today we're continuing with some middle game strategies again, and today's subject will be removing the defender in chess. So sometimes your opponent can make a mistake and build simply his defense around one particular piece. So we should simply remove that piece, as simple as that. So we should then attack when he doesn't have any more the defender. I think you have clear ideas how to proceed and strike back with some great attacking possibilities and great tactical motifs. So here is our first example. It's one of my games that I played, and my opponent played really a bad move, knight to d7. Although my opponent has already a weak position because he has weakened the pawn structure in front of this king too much. My bishops are aiming. But what I realized after potential e5 move and d takes e5, he cannot move the knight on d5, which would be a natural square because he cut off his connection between the potential connection between his queen and the knight. So that's why it was an easy idea for me to strike back here with the move e5. So immediately pawn breakthrough here after d takes e5, you see my opponent cannot play the move knight to d5. He would love to cement the knight there because as I said, he lost the connection between the queen and the knight, so he had to play the king to e8, and now we have removed basically the only good defender in front of the king, and now I played the move h5. So here my opponent tried knight to e5 because he grabbed the pawn. He thought that he could maybe hang on to this position, but now after h takes g6, this pawn move comes with a check, of course, and my opponent has to react. So in the game, my opponent played king to g8, which is again bad. I played simply knight to e5, bishop to e5, and now I had a great tactic, bishop to d4. Again, we're removing the defender, but the most important thing is to get our queen on h6, where we can create checkmate threats on the h file. My opponent I took queen takes h6, and in this position, my opponent resigned. There are no good moves, so if he plays f takes 6, checkmate will happen. So he cannot make anything happen. So here in this position, after the move h5, knight to e5, if knight takes g6 happens, you may ask yourself this question, then bishop takes g6 will happen with a check, and you lose too much material, and it's of course game over. So this was our first example, but this example that I wanted to show you, it's really a great one. It's a game played by Vishy Anand against Vasily Ivanchuk. So two legends are playing, and here is black's problem. So black has coordinated many pieces on the queen side. You'd say we have the rook, knight, queen are attacking, of course, creating at least some kind of attacking chances here for black. But the problem is black is lacking of defenders here, and now we should simply remove all of them. So here Vishy Anand, the legendary world champion, will show really his great attacking skills. He plays first of all the move h6. So here Vasily played g6. He tried to defend, he tried to have some kind of a compact position with his pawns. And here Vishy played knight to h5. The idea is clear, knight to f6 will happen, and this could be really, really bad position. So here in the game, c takes d4, played by Ivanchuk, and now queen to h4. This is a double attack. First of all, there is also this tension on the fourth rank, so d takes c3 cannot happen. You lose again some material. So here Chucky has to make a decision. If he retreats with the knight here, then again knight to f6 will happen. We will have again some great attacking possibilities. In the game, Vasily tried the rook to f7. He wants to have his knight here, where the knight is also protecting the g6 square. But now comes knight to f6. We have king to h8, and now we have knight to e8. Very, very nice move here by Vishy Anand. What to do now? Here in the game, knight to g8 was played by Vasily Ivanchuk, and try now to find really the winning tactic. It's a great move here by Vishy Anand. Again, we should first realize the key defender in this position. So the key defender in this position is of course the rook on f7, and here Vishy Anand played knight to d6, attacking the rook. After rook to f8, now really pause the video and try to find the winning tactic. It's a great move that Vishy Anand has found, and great attacking move. Here, the great move is queen to d8, sacrificing the queen. Incredible stuff here. If you take rook takes d8, then you get simply checkmated with knight to f7, because the pawn is of course cutting off the very important g7 square for the king. So in the game, Chucky tried rook to c8, but now after queen takes c8, again the same maneuver is happening. After rook takes c8, knight to f7 in this position, Chucky resigns. So great attack by the legendary Vichy. How he found the really attacking possibilities, because there was really this tension on the queen side. Black had some counter-attack possibilities, so if you lose the tempo, you saw you could have some troubles. Knight to c5 could happen, maybe knight to e4. If black, for instance, cements this knight here on this very active square, it's a bad position for white, so it had to be really active here, and Vichy of course found really great move. So let's see now another example. It's a game played by Igor Petrovich Yakupov, and here in the game, black tried the move bishop to d6. Again, the key defender here in this position is the knight on e4, because it cut off here the connection between the bishop and the queen. The serious threat is of course the move queen takes h7. So that's why here Igor Yakupov, pardon me, I'm mixing these two guys up. So he found a really great move, knight to d4 first. He's leaving the bishop in the center. It's not hanging, but at least we are attacking the piece that we want to attack. And if you try something like now f5, f5 was played in the game, but if you try bishop to e5, then we can simply again remove the defender, the bishop on c6. If you take, for instance, the pawn on b2, we would have rook to e4. Again, you cannot take the knight. That's the main problem, because you get rook to c4 with a double attack. Bishop to h7 and queen to h7 is again the same threat. You will lose the queen. So in the game here, after the move knight to d4, black tried f5, but it was a bad choice, because knight to e6 here happened. The queen has to move. Now we have bishop takes e4, again removing the defender, because we want to get our queen to the knight on g5, and again threatening checkmate. Here in the game, bishop takes e4, we have bishop to e4, knight to g5. You have to protect with the queen, and now comes really the stunner. Pause the video again and try to find the winning move. Okay, I hope you can find the move, because it's this nice checkmate pattern. Queen to h7. After queen to h7, we have knight to f7. This is really great mate with the knight, and great attack. You see how white sneaked in with the pieces into the position, really got rid of all of the defenders that black had. If you noticed, if black didn't react in this way, then we would simply grab too much material. So that's why great attack again here by white. So let's see now another game. It was a game played by Vasily Ivanchuk against Veselin Topalov, and here the position is unclear, because there are not so many attacking pieces. We don't have any more the queens on the board. We don't have any more the bishops. But the main idea here of white is somehow to open the h file, get our rook to h3, and deliver checkmate. So it's a serious threat, because black cannot really make something happen. If black makes pawn moves, then you weaken the pawn structure in front of the king too much. So that's why black searched here for a simplification and tried knight to e6. But Vasily Ivanchuk played really great move. First, he takes d5. First, if you take, of course, the knight, then we simply take out the knight on c4, and you see we have attacked the knight. The pawn is hanging. We have to move the knight somewhere, and you lose again too much material, and white will probably go into winning endgame. So that's why here black tried c takes d5, but now knight to e2. We want to get our knight again centralized here on d4. We have rook to e4, but now great move by Vasily Ivanchuk, knight to b5. So here Veselin Topalov takes, rook takes f4, but now knight to c7. We want to grab, of course, this pawn, but the most important thing is that we want to get our rook on the h file. As I said, here h takes g6. If you try f takes g6, the problem is you get knight to e6 to fork. So that's why here you see Vasily Ivanchuk removed the defender of the e6 square. Now after h takes g6, try to pause the video and find now really the winning tactic here. Take your time. It's maybe not too easy to see, but as I said, we know our plan. We want to deliver checkmate on the h file. So the correct move here is, of course, rook to h3. The only way that black can defend this is get out with the king. So king to f8 was played, but now comes really the stunner. So knight to e6, again removing the defender, because the pawn is now the only defender, and we want to play here with the rooks on the 7th and 8th rank. So after f takes e6, we have rook to h8, and here after rook to h7, the king has to leave the protection of the rook, king to d6, and now here after king to d8. I'm not going to show the whole game. It was still a complicated endgame, as black has this two pawns in the center, but Vasily Ivanchuk managed to win this game. This position was evaluation about 1.5 here for white. So great attack here by Vasily Ivanchuk. As I said, sometimes in chess, notice your opponent's defender, try to do something around the defender, try to remove it. That's the most important thing. There are all other tactical possibilities, maybe decoy, deflections, overloads, pawn breakthroughs. Really, they are simply built around this particular piece that's defending the king, and you see how easy it sometimes can be when you realize your defensive pieces, move them with some great tactics. So okay, I hope that you realize these ideas, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. Meanwhile, you can watch my other middle game strategies, and you can also watch my basics in chess series videos, which I show you more opening principles, middle game strategies, end game strategies. And you can also subscribe to my channel if you like this content. See you soon with some more videos, and chess is the best, of course.